Alright, we can start going into power absorption right away. That's going to have really good synergy with one of the units I want to use this run. And it looks like we can wall off this right away. We don't really have a good area around here. We could maybe use here, I guess. Yeah, that should work. So we'll grab one of our reviving guardians, and then we want to get the shadow assassin as soon as possible as well. The shadow assassins are all about like stacking and scaling and getting stronger over time, which I unfortunately just didn't get any of the upgrades that do that. But we'll see that soon. And then I think I'll throw you right around here. These lightning swordsmen are really hard to use unless you're going a build that specifically like tries to buff them, because they just don't have any attack range really. They can get attack range, but it takes some setting up to get them. Okay, and then we'll grab this. I want to look for any kind of economy upgrade I can get early on. If you don't get any economy upgrades, things can get pretty rough because you just don't have the units to throw down. And then we're gonna go ahead and get a second reviving guardian, and I'll wait on the archer. Here we go. This is what we want to look out for with the shadow assassins. Each enemy killed grants him 1 attack. Okay, and then we can power up our power absorption. That's the one we picked up right at the beginning. We'll get 20% of the attack of the follower with the highest attack. So since this guy can kind of scale really high in attack, it's going to let that transfer over to my character and make my character a lot stronger. I think this is probably one of the best ways to make your hero really strong in this game, is use the combination of shadow assassins and the power absorption. The other upgrade to look out for with these guys is one more to the list. It just lets them get more kills at once, so they can stack the damage faster. And now we can go ahead and start getting an archer as well. The archer, one of the important upgrades, is going to be bow soul sigil. It allows you to place a tile down that increases the attack speed of any unit in that tile, which is just going to be another thing that helps the assassin get as many kills as possible. And then on top of that, we're going to grab power absorption rebound, which makes it where when I kill units, it makes the shadow assassin even stronger. And then the stronger he is, the more that it will transfer back to me as well. So we basically just have like super scaling on our shadow assassin at this point. We're going to make him as strong as possible so we can make ourselves strong as possible too. We don't need to go all the way up to 540, we can grab it later, but he's not going to reach 360 for quite a while. Ooh, do we want to grab some max HP? The problem is that these guys have really low base HP for the most part, so I don't know if it's gonna work as well on them, but we might as well. It's a legendary upgrade. And then we'll grab some extra attack range for the archer as well. These guys, be careful about. When they have that bar underneath them, it means they're reflecting damage. You can pretty easily one-shot yourself if you're not careful with them. And then I think we're going to start going into Half-Blood Prince already as well. This is just going to make it where when I die, I become invincible for 10 seconds. It's also going to have a very nice passive that we can unlock. So I could keep going into this. This is nice for kind of spreading thunderstorm stacks around to enemy units. But I think I'm going to start going into Electrified Blade so I can get his attack range up with this one. Yep, there we go. So now he has, oh shoot. That's actually something I need, so it's fine, but I was just I was kind of clicking to click on something else, and then the quest menu popped up when I was clicking, but it's fine. That's going to give us something that's going to be very, very important for the final boss fight anyways. Now we might want to pick up this. This is one thing that can help out your lightning swordsman a lot if you get power absorption onto them, because it'll give them that threshold they need for their attack range boost without having to actually auto-attack stuff and stack it up themselves. Okay, and then perfect. This is probably one of the best upgrades in the game. You can get these other places too, but for just one level, it's really good value. That's going to give you an item that allows you to promote your units into another class, basically. I think we want to focus more on bleed stacks than we do on lethal strike. Both are good, but for this hero specifically, we're going to end up getting a way to convert bleed stacks into thunderstorm stacks, basically. And thunderstorm is going to... For one, it's going to help the archer with this passive here when we get that later. And then also, thunderstorm makes it where enemies just take more damage. So if you can get like thousands of stacks on bosses and stuff, it's going to make you just melt through them. That's going to be how we're going to deal with bosses for the most part. And then this is what we want to look out for Half-Blood Prince. When you die and go into that mode, you get more EXP, so you can just get way more skills than you would be able to on other characters. Alright, how many stacks are you at? 158, so you're nowhere near being able to actually stack up to that. And then we can grab this as well. That makes it where when he kills a bleeding enemy, it'll spread the stacks out. So one thing, if you try to pick up the game on your own and you haven't played as much, you'll only be able to level your units to level 10. So you'll have to prioritize which upgrades you pick a little bit better. I'm going to be able to get them to level 15, so I'm going to be able to get way more upgrades on them. Oh, perfect. Another level in this. We could probably go ahead and die pretty soon, too, just to make sure we actually use that. I guess we'll just go ahead and pick up the HP. We don't really have too many other good options there. And I'll get one more Reviving Guardian, and now I'll start actually leveling them up a little bit. Let's see, you do have the ability to go to 150, so we can grab that. The problem is his attack damage falls off if he doesn't attack enough. Oh, well, I guess that's one way to trigger my my demon form. Oh nice, we got the EXP maxed out on it too. So I'll try to mention it if I see one again later, but the big white crystal enemies can damage reflect and one-shot you. I don't like any of these options. I think this one... Yeah, this one nerfs my hero, which I don't really want. Kinda down to take the mana exchange talisman. That's gonna make the gate guard down here stronger based on whoever my strongest unit, or my highest level unit is. And then it looks like I'm about at the time where I need to get a lightning swordsman down here too. We're getting a lot of economy, which is nice. Some runs you just, like, don't get any economy upgrades, and it makes things really annoying. I don't know, like, how they would really change it, but I feel like there needs to be a better middle ground. It feels like some runs, if you get your economy early, you just almost have too much money. And then other runs, it's like you don't have enough money because you don't get the economy. Because it's just kind of a random thing you can find here. There's no real way to guarantee it. Okay, Golden Gate's going to be very important as well, because we don't have any other way of healing the gate, really. You could go into Lifesteal, or there's a specific unit that can heal the gate, but we probably won't be going either of those unless we get a bunch of levels. Wow, we're getting a lot of Frozen Blood stacks, which is going to make the boss fights so much easier. Another thing, if you're going to play in the real high difficulties, always look out for ignore resistance up, because enemies are going to get a ton of resistances, and then this upgrade's just pretty much always good as well. It gives you more refresh attempts every time you level up. We could get a bunch of more money here. We don't really need any more of the Decree of the Ancient Kings, so we'll be fine. I don't think he's quite able to get to 200 attack yet, so we'll go with this. I think once he gets a level or two in this, he will be able to make it to 200, but he can't quite yet. Oh, we need to kill this goblin up here too for the quest. Oh, now we got a bunch of extra money. We could grab this soon, but I'll just get the flat attack speed first, unless there's no other options, of course. What do you add for stacks? 248, so you're still quite a ways off of being able to actually use this. Let's see, he's at level 12, so we have a couple levels as well. He can go up to level 15. We could start going into this soon, but I think with how many refreshes we have, I would rather just grab a couple other things first. I don't think we really need this quite yet. That'll be good later. Well, we didn't actually even have human power yet. That's what we need to start going into next. Because it'll start giving me the ability to apply Bleed and Thunderstorm. I guess we'll go ahead and grab this just in case he gets high enough level. Or if he gets high enough kills, is what I mean. And the reason why I went for 4 tanks instead of just 1, there's a couple reasons why. One of them is that these, what are they called? Exploding Guardians or something like that? We'll check that in a second. But anyways, this is why I want to go into the human power. It's pretty good just in general for damage and stuff, but being able to convert Bleed into Thunderstorm is gonna allow me to do a lot more damage in the bosses. Wow, we are just getting hyper economy run. I'm down for it though. But yeah, with these Reviving Guardians, they're not nearly as tanky as other tank units, but what they do specialize in is they deal damage every time they die, and they revive much faster than other units. So by just putting down 4 of them, they can kind of juggle aggro and respawn timers, and tank pretty effectively that way. And now, since I have meta progression, every time I get a unit to level, I guess it's level 16 is the max. I was thinking it was 15. But every time I get a unit to level 15, I'm going to get one of these to upgrade. And then this will allow you to, like I said before, it's basically making your unit into a higher tier class. For this build, we want a Shadow Duelist. It's going to split him into 3 clones, which get all of his upgrades and everything. So I mentioned it before, but this unit right here is the one that can one-shot you with damage reflect if you're not careful. I can get more refresh attempts? Yeah, sure, why not, game? Okay, perfect. We can max that out too, so now we have just like a basic 1-to-1 ratio. When something has bleed stacks on it, and I hit it, it will get the same amount of thunderstorm stacks. We will do quite a bit of magic damage, but it's not really going to be our main damage source, so I can skip that. We get 40% reduction on merchant prices, okay. And then another reason why we're going so heavy on Thunderstorm too is just to make the archer attack as fast as possible. The more attack speed the archer has, the better, especially once we end up promoting him later. Let's see. The resurrection time on this shouldn't really matter too much, but I'm gonna wait, and now we want to start going into the power absorption applies to more followers. Since this guy split, we now have 3 of them to power absorb off of. So let's see. We're already at 1300 damage, and that's going to keep going up. Do I really need more economy at this point? Probably not. I might just pick this up. It's a nice quality of life. We could grab this. I don't think it's that good yet until it gets up to the higher levels, though. For now, we'll just focus on some other things. Like grabbing the final level in the power absorption ratio. Okay, let's see. I might want to get more of like a backline down here. We can grab some more levels in you. I don't really care about these units too much as like an actual attacking unit, but one of the really cool mechanics about this game is that every time you place a unit, it gives your hero a different type of buff. So we'll go over those in just a second. He's probably not going to be killing as much, but we'll get 1 level in it just so we can stack a little bit. This guy will be focused a lot more on just applying bleed stacks to the bosses. This is just going to make it where every time I'm attacked, it summons an explosive that deals damage based on my attack damage. Which at this point... Ooh! We spiked up to 2,000. I think it might have... The spike might have been from this guy being stacked. We need a couple more levels on our archer, and then we can go ahead and promote him to... He's going to be very important. This will make it where our hero and followers resurrect faster, so that'll be nice to have. And that one, I believe, does count when the followers resurrect, not just the heroes. Oh, right. So, let's do the shop real quick, and then I'll try and remember to talk about the... I'll try to remember to talk about the follower buffs. Oh, we have so many stacks of Frozen Blood. We are gonna just massacre the boss. Between, like, how much high rolled on income and some other stuff, the boss is probably not going to be an issue at all. I also need to start getting some units back here as well for when the side lanes open up. I don't think I care about the AoE on the archer too much. I'm actually not sure if this triggers even on single targets. That's something I'll have to test out at some point. But anyways, I want the bleed. Okay, so follower buffs. Basically, they just work every single level you have in a follower. On the map total, you get another stack of the buff, basically. Let's see. I think we're still missing the bleed for my... Oh no, we have it, it's just not maxed yet. So we'll try to max this out next, probably. But yeah, for every level that followers have in total on the map, you get different types of buffs, which I think is a cool way of making the towers more unique than just their attacking and their classes and stuff. Like for the Shadow Assassin, I get a chance to deal bonus damage. The Archer increases my range. The Lightning Swordsman increases my attack speed. And the Reviving Guardian reduces my respawn time, which is very important for triggering my demon form more often. At least assuming I'm not at the point of where I'm just one-shotting stuff anyways. You won't always get quite this lucky in runs, and you won't kill stuff quite this fast. Okay, that's going to max out my Archer as well. So now we can promote the Archer into the Soul Reaper. The Soul Reaper is just going to apply every kind of debuff. So it can apply the Bleed, the Freeze, and the Thunderstorm that we all need. We don't really care about the burn stacks at all, but having them doesn't hurt anything. So yeah, kind of what I was saying before is that, like, even though the Lightning Swordsman isn't really getting that much value in this build, because of his real low attack range compared to my other units, he's still getting a lot of value in buffing my hero's attack speed. So I think it's a really good mechanic for making units viable in some builds that they wouldn't be otherwise. Do I want to go ahead and get a second archer? I definitely can. In one of the shops, by the way, we picked up a blessing earlier that gives units on the blessing a 50% chance to double any debuffs applied. So that works extremely well with the Soul Reaper Archer, which can just apply debuffs every attack. Do I have another unit I really... guess putting this on here so we can apply more bleed stacks is fine. But this archer is mostly going to be to defend stuff that gets here. I think it's going to happen pretty soon. Probably around the time this boss fight ends, or a couple minutes after. There's going to be some very, very fast units that are going to start coming in from the sides. Let's see, do we really care about the magic resist at this point? I probably should, just because our Soul Reaper Archer is going to be killing a lot of the units that come back here. Okay, and then perfect, we can max out the bleed here. Extra range will be nice as well. Range really scales quickly on both the Archer and the Assassin. Okay, so now we need to... Really, game? Really, game? I need tanks back here. I should have been placing them a little sooner. Honestly, we could probably even move one or two of these guys back at this point. I don't think we need 4 tanks up here. Most stuff isn't going to make it this far. And then, yeah, we'll move you here. We probably don't need you quite way out there. And then maybe you here. These enemies are very annoying, because they are fast. They can get on your gate extremely quickly. They do pretty decent damage as well. I don't know if they have a, like, high attack speed or what it is. 0.7 is not too high. But it just seems like they always just kind of eat through my tanks. I don't think we really care about any of these. I don't know if we're gonna hit this quest, honestly. Our archer can do the quest, but the problem is that stuff is just dying too fast. I'm suffering from success a little bit. I don't think we need to finish that quest at this point, though. Let me check. How do I check this? We're converting 160% of our bleed into damage over time. Wait. Enemies affected by both freeze and bleed trigger 80%. I guess the 80% just isn't changed to the 160. So yeah, I think we're doing 160% of our bleed stacks as damage over time for bosses. Which is definitely not as much as you would have on most runs. But the nice thing about this build is that either if you get a lot of that for the bleed to do damage over time, the bleed will start carrying really heavily. If not, the thunderstorm stacking still gives you plenty of damage on bosses. I think I mentioned it already, but if I didn't, thunderstorm just makes enemies take more damage. And then for this archer, we're going to focus more heavily on the piercing ice arrows. Since this archer here can apply the freezing status for us now, we can use this one to get even more bleed stacks. And we should be coming up pretty soon on the boss fight. I think I'll just go ahead and skip ahead to the boss fight too, because we're far enough at this point where everything's pretty much done and set up. So I'll see you guys there. We do not have any physical damage to ignore. That might be a little bit of a problem. One of the meta progression options makes it where my hero completely ignores resistances, but a lot of my damage from followers is physical based. There we go. We can go ahead and grab Thunder Descent as well. This will make it where every time I attack 4 times, it'll... Let me turn the music down a little bit, just in case. This music is way, way louder than the other music, so I don't want it to overpower the video. Oh, this will help out a lot too. When applying bleed, there's an 80% chance to apply burn as well. Oh no, did I get the bug? I think I got the bug where my archers just don't attack at all. I have no idea what causes it. I've only seen it like 2 times out of a lot of times I've ran this. Well, there's magic ignore, but if our Soul Reapers aren't actually attacking, that's not going to do any good. We might just want to bump up Bleed's damage at this point. I think Bleed's going to be doing a majority of our DPS. And we can level up Thunder Descent a bit more. Oh yeah, now we're getting up to the... closer to the... Or we jumped all the way up to 8,000, actually. We passed 1,000 by just a few. Thunder Descent's a really, really good hero buff, but it's kind of like risky if you take it too early, because it only affects a single enemy at a time. So it's not all that great for killing the regular enemies, it's more for bossing. More bleed damage over time, sure, why not? I wonder if the damage bonus from Thunderstorm applies to the damage over time from, like, bleed and burn. Do we need any range? I don't think the range is the problem. We can check just to know. So no, they're definitely in range. They're just not attacking for some reason. Alright, there's the first phase of the boss down. And we'll see if the second one even lasts long enough. So this boss has some very annoying mechanics, by the way. I've talked to the developer about changing them, and they seem to be pretty receptive to them. Problem with this boss right now is that he just full screen wipes your whole team out. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. And then he also has a debuff that affects the closest unit and just outright kills it. It prevents all healing and everything else. There's nothing you can do to survive it, because it's 100% of your maximum health and damage. Which is fine for picking off followers, so you don't just have a bunch of followers tank him. But it's annoying when it goes onto your hero, and you can't really tell it's about to go off. So we actually did... That's weird. In other runs where I've had the bleeding debuff thing, the bleed does a ton of damage, but I wonder if... I think my Shadow Assassin and my Shadow Duelist might not have been attacking in the boss fight either. That's what it looks like based on the damage numbers here at the end. So it's actually a good thing we did get the... Well, the burn... No, the burn didn't do that much either. My hero just ended up doing most of it, it looks like, in pretty much raw attack damage. But yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Even if the bleed fails for some reason, the Thunderstorm stacks just give you so much damage. The Thunderstorm is the most consistent way I've found to beat the boss fight so far. But I'm sure there's other builds. There's still a lot to test out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I've been enjoying this game a lot, so I'll most likely be doing some other builds too. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.